Hey guys, this is Coach Lowe, and this is Geometry, Chapter 2, Section 2 on Logic. Chapter 2, Section 2, talking about some logic here. All right, so write these definitions in your notebook. A statement is a sentence that is either true or false. Truth value. The truth value of a statement is either true or false, and statements are represented with letters like P, Q, and R most of the time. All right, so compound statements will have two or more statements and they're joined by the words and or. And there are a couple of types of compound statements and or statements. And so the and statement is called a conjunction. And when we talk about conjunctions, there's a symbol. And so these would be statements. I told you they would be represented by P and Q. So P and Q, that's the symbol for and or conjunction. When we read it P and Q. And then the or statement looks like this, P or Q for the disjunction. All right, and then also we'll have negation. And so when you negate something, it's the opposite or it has the opposite meaning of whatever it originally said. And that symbol looks like this. And it's red. So if I put P there, this is red, not P. So if we have a statement like the chair is red, the negation of that would be the chair is not red. So we'll talk some more about that. All right, let's get going. So use the following statements to write a compound statement for each conjunction or disjunction, and then write its truth value. Okay, so let's start with this first one. Well, you can read the statements also. I don't think I need to read those to you, but we have statements P, Q, R, and S. So those are listed right here. And now we'll start with P and Q. All right, so let me go back a screen actually, and let's talk about this for just a second. A conjunction is only true, so when we start talking about the truth value, a conjunction is only true when both statements are true, or all statements are true. So if we're talking about one sentence or we have two statements that are made, if one of those is false, then the conjunction is false. When you have and, they both must be true. On a disjunction, when we use or, one can be false and one can be true. If they are both false, then the truth value is false. And I'll show you some examples so this will make sense. So if they're both true, it's true. If one's true and the other's not, then it's still true. So on a disjunction, if you see the word or, the only way that's going to be false or the truth value is false is if they are both false. So we'll look at that right here. P and Q. All right, so this is a conjunction because it has the word and. All right, so let's look back up here. -3 minus 2 equals -5. And Q says vertical angles are congruent. Well, we've been working with vertical angles, haven't we? Vertical angles are congruent. All right, for the truth value to be true, we want the truth value, so it's either true or false. These both must be true because it says and. All right, so -3 minus 2 is -5, and vertical angles are congruent. So this statement is true. All right, so it's a conjunction, and it's true. All right, so the compound statement we would write would be -3 minus 2 equals -5 and vertical angles are congruent. All right, there's our compound statement and it's conjunction because there's an and. All right, and it's true. All right, P, and then we have this little up arrow. Hopefully you remember what that means. That means and, it's a conjunction. P and R, so go back up here. -3 minus 2 equals 5 and 2 plus 8 is greater than or bigger than 10. All right, it's an and. Both of these must be true on the truth value. They are not both true. This one is actually false, so the truth value is false. So they both must be true for this to be true. All right, number 3 is an or. On an or, only one of the two, or they can both be true, but only one of the two has to be true. If they're both false, then this statement will be false. So let's see what this says. -3 minus 2 equals -5. That's P, so this was true. Or, so we already know this is going to be true, don't we? Or S, the sum of the measures of complementary angles is 90 degrees. 90 degrees. That is true also. So the sum of measures, I'm going to abbreviate here, of complementary angles is 90 degrees. All right, that is true also. So this statement is true. All right, this symbol also means or. So 2 plus 8 is greater than 10, or the sum of the measures of complementary angles is 90. All right, so remember what we said. For an or, this can be true or this can be true and it will still be true. All right, we know that the first one is false, right? Oh, sorry. The first one is false. We already decided that. And we already decided the second one is true, so this is true. All right, now look at the next one. P and not Q. So the negation of Q. All right, so we know -3 minus 2 equals -5, and vertical angles are not congruent. Okay, we know vertical angles are congruent. All right, so that makes this false. That makes this true. It's an and. They both have to be true for it to be true. So this is a false statement. So the truth value is false. All right, now let's look at the next one. Q, vertical angles are congruent. That is true. And not R. So 2 plus 8 is not less than 10, which is true. 2 plus 8 is not less than 10. They are both true. This is an or. They are both true, so this is true. All right, hopefully that made sense. All right, now we're going to complete a table. All right, this is kind of cool because it's kind of like the problems we just did, except without all the words. So we have, when you make the truth table on 9 and 10, you'll make a table that looks just like this. You will put down the possibilities for P. True, true, or it could be false, false. Now, the reason why we put more 2 trues and 2 false is because Q, I could have P be true and Q is true, or P could be true and Q could be false. Those are different options, right? There's only 2 options for both. Or we could have P be false, Q is true, or P is false and Q is false. These are all of the possible combinations that we could have with true or false statements. All right, remember what this means, not P. So I want the opposite of this column. So if it's not true, then it's false. Not true, false. Just looking down the column of the P truth values. Not false is true. Not false is true. All right. This is kind of cool because this next step helps us with this one. So I want not P, which is this column right here, the purple column, and Q. Not P and Q. Remember, for this to be true, for me to put a T in this column, they both have to be true. So I'm looking at the Q column and the not P column. So I have F and, so I have false and true, right? That's what this says on this first line. I have not P and Q. All right, so false and true is a false. False and false is a false. True and true, it's an and, so if it's both true, it's true. The only way I'm going to put a T in this column is if they're both true. All right, now look at this next one. It says not what I put in this blue column, not P and Q. So I want the opposite of the blue column because this stuff right here is right here in the middle. So I'm just going to do the opposite of whatever these guys say right here. So I have true, true, false, true. So those are my statements on that. All right, you can try number 8 if you want to. Pause the video and check it out. And then we'll come back and talk. All right, so they wrote part of the truth table for us. That's kind of cool. So these same These two columns are exactly the same as what we started. So when you make up your truth table down here on number 9, that's what your first two columns are going to look like. And then we'll have not Q, which is opposite of what we have right here. They've already filled that in for us. And now we will have not P or not Q. All right, so we need not P. So I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to kind of squeeze it in between. Not P will be false, false, true, true. All right, so I want not P or not Q. All right, so false, false makes false. All right, now remember this is an or. So if one of them is true, the truth value is also true. So false, true is true. True, false is true. True, true is true. The only way it's false is if they are both false. All right, guys, I hope that made sense. We will pick up as a bell ringer for numbers 9 and 10 when we're in class tomorrow. All right, guys, this is Coach Lowe, and I'm out. Walk away.